What's going on, short men? And welcome to another episode of the Short Men Only podcast. And I hope you guys are doing well. I am doing great. It's another beautiful day in the beautiful state of South Carolina. So I'm happy. I'm good. I guess I'm always happy when I'm recording or talking to you guys. But today's topic, I feel like sometimes I'm beating a dead horse, but this is the path I chose. So I'm going to keep beating this horse until I am satisfied that you guys are getting it. So today I'm going to beat this dead horse a different way. I have one desire, and it's a simple one, but it's a complex one for many of you short brothers. And that is, I want to help you embrace your height. That is what I want. And I want you to embrace your height because that is the only way that I believe you're going to reach your full potential. And reaching your full potential is of the utmost importance to me. Now, there are some things in place that are stopping a lot of you from embracing your height and becoming reaching your full potential, becoming the best version of yourself. And I think one of those things is stereotypes. There are a lot of stereotypes and prejudices around height. And some of them, most of them as short men, we've all faced at some point. And they're annoying, they're hard, and they're real. Like the stereotypes are real. And I want to be clear that I know these stereotypes exist. I'm not trying to say that stereotypes around height do not exist because I absolutely believe they do. And I absolutely believe that, they're hard. And some of the stereotypes are out there are like short men are less attractive or less successful or short men have less leadership potential. These are myths. These are not true. But these are the things that are out there when it comes to us short men. Like some of these myths are out here. And the issue is like when you think about some of these myths. So let's go with the short men are less successful. Well, we do know one of the richest people in the world is Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos is only 5'7". We also know that Mark Zuckerberg, another one of the richest men in the world, is 5'7". And you may have heard of a guy named Dale Carnegie. Dale Carnegie would probably, if he was alive right now, with the fortune that he amassed during his time, he would probably be richer than both of them. This is going out on a limb. I believe this to be true. He would. I'm sorry, Andrew. Andrew Carnegie. Andrew Carnegie. Carnegie. I said Dale. Well, but I want to go by his correct name, Andrew Carnegie. He was 5'3", and I believe, would be richer if he were alive today. He would have been richer than both Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg, and he was 5'3". So we have these things that are not true, right? So we can prove that just by these quick examples that it's not true that short men aren't successful. And it's not true that short men can't lead because we can see that these examples that there are a lot of, short men. I mean, there are short men who obviously can lead. They wouldn't be able to do what they were able to do without being able to lead. There's and this goes to it's more than just business, right? We can say, we can go with fashion. I like Saint Laurent. I like that cologne. That man is only 5'6", and he is regarded as one of the foremost fashion designers. I don't even want to try to say the first name because I know I was gonna mess it up, so I didn't even attempt. If you ever see this, I'm sorry. I apologize. We got Dave Thomas, Wendy's man. He was only 5'8", right? We have a president that was 5'4". I'm trying to figure out which one. I made sure I wanted to write all this stuff down because I'm tired of hearing these myths, right? It was James Madison, the fourth president of the United States, was 5'4". So it's simply not true that short men can't lead, and it's simply not true that short men aren't successful. And there's so many other, I didn't even want to get into all the, different actors, artists. We got Prince, we got Seth Green, we got, Bruno Mars, Kevin Hart. We got so many to choose one from, right? And these are just the ones at the, that would be considered the top in their industries. We have Jack Ma, 5'3". So we have these people. These people are out here. So we have to, yes, I understand that there are all these stereotypes, but we also have to know that the stereotypes aren't real. They're just not real. But what happens is we start believing the stereotypes just because people say them. And then when people say them, we start believing, that I might as well not even try because, short men aren't successful. Short men don't lead companies. Short men don't do this, and short men don't do that. And you know what that does is that leads to this feeling in short men, which I feel is all too prevalent, is why try? I might as well just quit before I start. And that is an issue because I think so many of you are quitting before you even attempt because you feel like the deck's already stacked against you when it's simply not true. You just haven't made the effort. You're the deck's always going to seem stacked against you when you're sitting on the bench. And all of this when you sit on the bench, all that does is lead to this feeling of low self-esteem, low self-worth, depression, all of these things. They start eating at you. They start, making you feel worse than you did before you started believing some of these myths, making you feel worse than you did before you started believing some of these lies that are out there, right? And it's harmful. It's doing so much more harm to your life by believing myths that aren't true. Why? Because some woman on social media said she doesn't like short dudes, or somebody wrote an article that said, but these people, you got to think about it too. What is going to get more clicks, especially from you? What is going to get more clicks from you as a short dude? Well, it's going to be an article talking about what you're not and what you can't be. Why? Because you've already convinced yourself of what you aren't and what you can't be. So you look for information that will feed what you want. You look for that information. because that is confirmation of the position you have decided to take in life. But I want you, I think we all have a responsibility to stop believing something that is not serving you. There has to be a filter where we say, okay, is taking in this content, is listening to this, is this gonna make my life better, or is this gonna make my life worse, right? And if it's not going to make your life better, if listening to stuff that just talks about everything you can't be is not going to make your life better, then you have to commit. You have to say, hey, I'm no longer going to allow this in my atmosphere. I'm no longer going to keep engaging in things like this. I'm no longer going to keep doing that, right? Because we have already seen that there are people that nobody was born, with the ability. Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg didn't know when he was a baby that he was going to do any of this stuff. Picasso, another short guy, he didn't know when he was born that he was going to, his work was going to outlive him and be worth half as much as it is. There was no way he knew that. But what they all did was, regardless of what people say, they had a vision, they had an idea, and they went after it, right? That is what they all did, which is the same opportunity you have. Now, it may not be on the scale of what they did. I get that. But it doesn't really have to be on the scale of what they did. It has to be on the scale of what you can do. But you won't even know what you can do until you put yourself out there and try. That is all it's the same thing with dating. All of this stuff. You will not figure out what you are capable of, or what you can do, or how good you can be at being able to talk to a person, being able to connect with a woman. Well, you won't know any of these things until you put yourself out there and try. And the most interesting piece of this is, once you start trying to do the best that you can and stop believing these stereotypes around your height, and stop, just indulging in content that feeds that, what you will soon discover is, once you get out there and start trying to, change your mindset around how you feel about your height, and start, coming up with things that you want to do, and then going out there and pursuing them, it changes every area of your life. It changes how you relate to other people. It will change how you relate to women. It will change everything. Why? Because you're actively participating in life instead of being a bystander of life. We have to, and how do we get there? How do you get to the place where you can say, hey, I am not being a bystander in life and I'm actually participating in life? You got to, personal growth, you got to educate yourself. You got to develop your skills, and whatever it is, there's something that you know how to do really well. There's something that when you wake up, your friends tell you, that you're just so good at it. You don't even have to think about it. You can solve that problem and whatever. Build on that, whatever that is. Get some hobbies, join a, whatever you're into. Join whatever type of club that is. Club, whether it be sports, whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. The point is that you find something that you're passionate about and pursue it. Now, something I do want to give a caveat, because it has to be something that will positively impact your life. You can be passionate about porn, but that's not going to take your life in a direction that you should. That is going to be useful or helpful to you in the long run. So when I'm saying passionate about it, it should be passionate about, the filter has to be, will this positively affect my life? Will I look back on my life and be glad that I did this thing, whatever that is? And even if you don't feel glad about it in the moment, or you don't feel good about it in the moment, the thing is, the things we are supposed to do, we don't always feel good when we're doing them, but we understand that there is massive benefits in doing those things. Like every time once I sat down in this chair to do the podcast, I was excited, I was ready, I was, all of those things. But leading up to this moment, I was not. I told myself, I was thinking about like maybe I should go home first and then come back and do it later this evening. So, but once I sat down, I was good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm happy to be here. But the process of getting here was not one of, oh, I'm happy, whatever, right? So you may not feel like the most thrilled about doing whatever it is that you know you need to do that will help improve your life, but that does not mean you shouldn't do it. And I think part of the issue is I always think we gotta feel good in that we always gotta feel good to go do something or feel good to go try something. Well, sometimes the reward comes from actually doing the thing we don't feel good doing. So just think about that. And when we're doing these things, when we're actually participating in life, it helps improve our mental health. That is one of the things I see as a short man. We are really suffering in that department because our belief about ourselves it's just down. We just don't believe in ourselves. We don't care about ourselves enough. And to me, that is a scary proposition, because if you don't care about you and you don't value your life, you will do things that can put you in harm's way and other people in harm's way, because you have no care, you have no value, you don't see the value in yourself. And a society where short men, feel angry and do not see value in themselves is a dangerous society. And I want you, short men, to feel like you have value, you see value in yourself. And I promise you, if you pursue improving yourself, that is what if you improve becoming the best version of yourself, I promise you it will change how you see yourself. I did not start seeing value in myself until I did the hardest thing that I could do. And the hardest thing that I could do was to improve my body. Man, it was hard. It was spent a lot of time doing it. It was painful. All of those things, right? But the level of confidence that I have felt after doing that, I cannot explain it to you, but it changed the way I see things. I mean, I probably wouldn't have met my wife the way I met her had I not went down that path, because I started putting myself out there more as far as like creating content, doing these different things, right? Because I had confidence. I started believing in myself, and it gave me the space to allow myself to show my creativity, do things that I've never, have done before, put myself out there in ways that I had never put myself out there before. Why? Because I showed myself that I can trust myself to do something that is really hard. And that changes you. It makes you a better person. And I'm going to talk about that more in depth. All of these some different strategies for all of this. And I'm happy to announce that the first book, the first guide for short men, is coming out at the end of next month. And we're going to talk about a lot of different, we're going to talk about one particular topic, which is dating. But we're not coming at it from the lens of I'm not trying to help you become some, you know, to learn how to run game on women. I'm not trying to help you do any of that. But I am trying to help you understand how you can date and meet the person of your dreams, whatever that may be, by looking at your life in a holistic way. And I'm going to show you how I went from being able to date, dating a lot of different women, to some changes that made that whole situation a lot better for me, and the lessons, painful lessons I learned along the way. So I'm going to share all that in the guide, but it is coming next month. And I believe in creating things that are actionable. I don't want you to just read it, walk away, and say, hey, I couldn't take action on any of this. Everything that I want to put out should be actionable. Now, I want you to start, like I said, let's kind of bring this back. I want you to start thinking about ways that you can, find something, a hobby, start working on your body. I don't care what it is, but find something to aim at. We've had this conversation before. I'm going to say it again. Find something to aim at. And it may be difficult at the beginning. I mean, if it's not difficult at the beginning, then you're not trying something that stretches you. So it's going to be difficult. You're going to feel uncomfortable, and that's okay. Lean into that. Get a hobby, whatever it is, because this is going to help you mentally, and this is going to help you physically, especially if it requires you to get up out your house. It's going to help you physically. And those are the two areas that, send us men to the grave the fastest, not being mentally fit and not being physically fit. And both of those things are in your control. I need you to start trying to control them. And the other piece of this, I think that will help you short men, and it's helped me, is just, trying to take some pride in your appearance. Get some clothes that fit. You don't got to wear the latest name brands, but get something that fits. Get something, make sure your clothes are clean. All of these things are going to help you see you in a different way. They're going to help you feel better about you. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying you got to go out and buy J's and all that. I'm not saying none of that. But take some time based on your budget and put yourself together. And this will be a topic that I will have to make more content around, because it's important. You want to get clothes that fit your frame, and that's going to help boost your confidence, I promise you. And the last thing I'm gonna say is, all of these things, especially if you develop a hobby or whatever it is outside your house, is going to force you to communicate with other people. And communicating with other people is how you're going to learn more about yourself, and how you're going to learn more about others, and how you're going to learn how the world works, and to be able to build relationships. Because relationships, man, they can open up doors that you just can't open any other way. And a lot of relationships, we create these superficial, relationships that are online. And I'm not saying I've met some great people online, but I'm saying a lot of times the relationships are superficial. If you was down to your last dollar, not too many of your Facebook or whatever platform friends are going to have your back or even care if you die. They're just not. But when you can take the time to build relationships in person with real people who care about you and want to support your journey, or you get in a community, even if it's an online community, of real people who are supporting your journey and want to be a part of it and want to encourage you and want to do these things, it is going to work miracles for your life. Now, I believe that you have to start listening to people telling you that short men aren't successful, short men aren't leaders, short men can't get women, all of that stuff. It's time to cut that stuff out because it's not helping you, it's hurting you. And it's also just confirming a narrative that you're going to have to give up. You're going to have to give up that narrative that you can't do these things because you can. And it's time that you start doing these things. Because, man, each day you live, you're dying. And you need to understand that. And now is the time to take life by the horns. Don't wait. Start now. You got nothing to lose. The time is going to pass either way. So why not let it pass by becoming the best version of yourself? You know, like, who's your hero? Think about who your hero is and why that person is your hero. That person is your hero because they took action in life. So would your hero be inspired by the fact that you're sitting on the bench, not taking action in your life? I doubt it. So take action. Stop believing narratives, these false narratives, and stop being defined by your height. You are not your height. It's just your height is what your height is, but you are not defined by it. So stop letting it define you. You define you. Not society, not anybody else. You defined you. And the way you defined you is becoming the best version of you, whatever that is. But I promise you, it ain't the version that is sitting on the sidelines feeling sorry for himself because of his height. I believe you're better than that. And I want you to strive to be the best version of yourself every day. And I want you to remember this quote by Oscar Wilde. It says, to live is the rarest thing in the world. Most people exist. That is all. Now you have to understand, to live is the rarest thing in the world. Do you want to just live? Or do you want to just exist? Or do you want to live? I want to live. I want you to live. I want you to experience life while you're here. Don't just exist. You're better than that. I believe you're better than that. So get out in this world and stop listening to all these naysayers and myths about short men and make it happen. I believe in you. I need you to believe in you and forget what everybody else is talking about and go be the best version of you. All right? This is Jalal Wilson with the Short Men Only podcast, and I care about you guys, and I believe in you. And, man, I'm going to keep coming and keep trying to tell you however many different ways I need to tell you until you get it, that you can do this. You are enough. And the book is coming next month. Next month. Yes. I'm serious about this. I've been actually slacking on my social media game because I've been writing. I want to get it done. So, yep. Until then, till next time, you guys be blessed. And I appreciate you.